When did you get sober in prison, sir?
Yeah, so I got sober in 1988 in Massachusetts State Prison, maximum security state prison in Massachusetts. And, you know, I was doing 6 to 9 years. I had just done 5 years. I did 5 years, and I did most of that 5 years in the hole. Got out, picked up a drink the very first day, and within 6 months, I was back in prison with a brand new 6 to 9 year prison sentence, and I just didn't want to do 9 years. That was the only. It was a simple math equation for me.
Yeah.
Couldn't do 9 years, and so I started to do some things to create the illusion that I was trying to get rehabilitated.
Like,
And so I started going to meetings. I knew that I had a problem with alcohol and drugs. I didn't think it was. I never connected it to all my troubles. I just thought everyone I knew drank and used like I did. Well, it was. I mean, it was. So I had access while I was in prison to drugs.
Yeah.
I had access, but because I was running this game, right? The way I felt about it was that I was putting a target on my back for the administration, right?
You want to chance it.
So I couldn't chance it, right? Because this game has got to work. I'll wait and I'll use when I get out, and so I can remember like it was yesterday being in the meetings thinking, this is great. This is a great program for these guys, but it's never going to work for me because I'm not worth it. And then I can also remember after a few months walking through the big yard and the thought just creeping into my mind, maybe this can work for me too. Just maybe.
But why? Was there a catalyst that maybe you
No,
heard?
just listen. If you go to meetings, right, you will hear things.
You can't help but hear.
In spite of yourself and what you're thinking about,
Is
right?
that the Holy Spirit?
It is the Holy Spirit. It's absolutely the Holy Spirit. But, for guys that don't believe in the Holy Spirit, that don't believe in God, that don't believe in Jesus Christ, I think it's a harder road. I think it's a harder road. I think it's not impossible, but it's impossible for me.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
We have one of the toughest, they say one of the toughest prisons in America, one of the toughest prisons certainly in Texas right now.
What's the name of it?
I was just thinking of it.
What is it?
Stiles Prison.
Stiles, maximum security state.
Sounds scary.
Stiles, yeah. Oh, it is scary.
Sounds scary. I mean, listen. I would have to say that I can say all the things that you hear in meetings. Just keep coming. It doesn't matter if you're full of shit. Just keep showing up, right? And I believe all that, right? But I want to tell you that nothing is too big for God, man. Nothing is too big for God. Okay? And no matter what you've been through, no matter where you've been, what you've done, nothing is too big for God, man. I'm speaking at a Catholic men's conference of 750 guys. I still run into people that are shocked I'm alive. I was homeless. I was helpless. I was useless. All right? Since the age of 12 years old, I went as far as the 7th grade. And suffered and caused a lot of suffering. And I also will run into people now that have somehow come across my book, people that I know in my life now that don't know who I used to be, and they're as shocked as some of the people that thought I was dead, right? They're like, what? Who is this person? Because I know you as this, kind and generous person, right?
Yeah.
And
in a way, thank goodness for prison for you.
Oh yeah. Well, thank God for a lot of people for that I went to prison. Honestly, because I don't know who's supposed to go to jail and who's not supposed to go to jail. Whatever. I was supposed to go to jail. I needed to go to prison. Yeah. I needed to go to prison. I needed to interrupt the insanity of my life in order to be still enough to hear God.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that there were breadcrumbs and opportunities along the way that I just wasn't,
Yeah.
And it got to a point where it was I was missing so many opportunities that God literally sent his number one assistant on earth to the prison I was in for me.
Mother Teresa.
For me.
Remarkable.
Because I don't know anybody else that was there that day that had the experience that I've had, or the awakening of my spirit that I had, or come 30 years later, the saint comes to me, and 30 years later, I make a film about that same saint. And that film was the number 1 or 2 documentary of 2022 across all genres, right? So, you know, I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for all of us.
And you're a
Right.
remarkable dude, man. Not too many people can say it with your background. I appreciate you.
Well,
Say
thank
hey
you.
to the guys at Stiles.
Rocco,
And Rocco
what's up, baby?
Mastrangelo.
Keep doing your thing, man. I'm going to tell you something. It's wonderful for people to, for guys in the can to get some kind of an inspired message from a guy who's just passing through town, right? It's a whole nother thing when you show up there every week or every month, right? And that they can rely on you and they can count on you, and you're living your message. So keep it up, brother. Day at a time, man.
Thanks so much, Mr. Wahlberg. Thanks so much, man.